You know, the world is changing fast. So how do the institutions we rely on, the ones that really hold our communities together, even begin to keep up? Well, today we're going to look at a really cool case study, a multi-million-dollar bet actually, on a totally new way to build leaders. Let's dig in and see how they're pulling it off.
And really, it all comes down to this question, right? What does it actually take to lead people through huge, massive change? Because let's be honest, when the old maps are useless, you don't just need a new guide, you need a whole new way of making guides.
All right, so here's our game plan. We'll start with what's being called a perfect storm of challenges and how that's creating a big leadership gap. Then we'll get to the good stuff, an amazing solution called tending. We'll see how its whole support system and its partnerships are designed to grow a totally new kind of leader.
Okay, so first up, let's set the scene. A lot of community groups, but especially congregations in this case, are right in the middle of, well, what the source material basically calls a perfect storm of problems.
And the thing is, it's not just one problem, it's everything hitting at the same time. You've got aging members, which is a huge demographic shift. Attendance and donations are down, creating all this financial pressure. On top of that, you have the crazy political polarization we're all feeling. And yeah, let's not forget the pandemic's after effects and the crushing cost of just keeping the lights on in these old, expensive buildings. It's a full-blown crisis, and that's a moment that calls for some really special leadership.
And that perfect storm, it leads us right here to this idea of a leadership gap. The old ways of training leaders, the methods that worked for generations, they're not cutting it anymore in this new world.
So check this out. The old model was, you'd pack up, move to a campus for 3 years, be a full-time student, and then come back to serve your church. But the new reality, it's completely different. The proposal calls that old way increasingly untenable, and you can see why. Today's leaders, they're already in their communities. They're often working more than one job. They're what you'd call multi-vocational. They can't just leave. They need the learning to come to them, right where they are.
Okay, so we've got the problem, we've got the gap, which brings us to the solution. And it's a big one. Out of this crisis, a whole new vision is taking shape. And it's not just about patching a hole, it's about completely rethinking what leadership development even is.
So let me introduce you to Tending, a ministry of learning. This is the initiative we're talking about, and it's being led by BSK Theological Seminary along with a whole crew of partners. And you gotta love the name, right? Tending, it's such a great metaphor. It's all about nurturing and growing leaders right there in their own soil, right where they're already planted.
And listen, this isn't some small little experiment. We are talking about a $7 million grant from Lilly Endowment, Inc., a $7 million grant. That kind of money tells you two things. One, just how urgent this problem is, and two, how much confidence there is in this new way of thinking.
So you might be asking, what is Tending really? Well, at its heart, it's a support system, an ecosystem really. It uses technology to bring accessible, lifelong learning to two groups, the traditional pastoral leaders, but also, and this is so important, the lay leaders. Those dedicated people in the community who don't have formal training but are stepping up and filling these incredibly important roles.
Okay, so how does this whole ecosystem work? Well, the secret sauce is this blend of high-tech and high-touch. It's not just one or the other. It's a combination of cool technology and real human connection. Let's peek at the blueprint.
Okay, so right at the center of everything are these folks called leadership tenders. And don't think of them like an IT help desk. Nope. Think of them more like personal guides or consultants. Their whole job is to listen, to really understand the unique needs of a person or a church, and then act as a matchmaker, connecting them to just the right tools and resources inside the Tending network.
The whole thing is built on three main pillars. Pillar one, the platform. This is the online hub, the library with all the courses and content. Pillar two, the tenders. Those are the human guides we just talked about, giving that personalized support. And pillar three, the messaging. That's the plan to get the word out, to share all the research and insights so that everybody, not just the people in the program, can learn from it.
Now, you can't pull off something this huge by yourself. It's just not possible. Tending is built from the ground up on collaboration. They really get that if you're facing a networked problem, you absolutely need a networked solution. And this chart really shows you how all the pieces fit together. You've got the schools like BSK and Eden handling the curriculum. You've got the Pacific School of Revision bringing the tech, the Core online platform. Then you have media partners creating content and spreading the word. And this is so key, the denominational partners. These are the bigger organizations that help find the people who need this training and the tenders who can help them. It really is a team effort from top to bottom.
So, what's the big picture here? What's the end game for all of this? It's pretty simple and pretty profound. It's about growing a totally new kind of leader, one who's ready for this new era.
And they have some really clear goals. They want to create a learning platform that's affordable and can grow. They want to build that network of qualified tutors. And what's the result of all that? Well, a much bigger, more diverse group of leaders who are actually equipped for today's challenges. And, just as important, all the research they gather, it's going to be shared with everyone so the whole field can get smarter together.
And this quote from the proposal just nails the huge shift in thinking here. It says, seminaries need to move away from just being schools and become ongoing support services. It's about getting away from that idea of education as a one-and-done transaction. Instead, it's a lifelong relationship of support. It's about meeting people where they are and serving them directly.
And that really leaves us with something to chew on. You know, this whole tending project is focused on faith communities, but the model, wow, it has implications for just about everything. What if we started to think about all education this way? Not as a destination you arrive at, but as a lifelong journey, a continuous path of learning, with support right inside the communities we want to serve. Just imagine, what could we build if we did that?